Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ambrya Zahnae, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my nighttime skincare routine. So the first step is I'm going to use my cleanser, which is African black soap. I end up using it with just a little facial scrubber, and I know some people say that you shouldn't use them, but this is just what I do. And you know, like I always say, if you aren't a licensed esthetician, licensed dermatologist, or a licensed doctor, please don't be rude in the comments with your opinions. I've always had acne-prone and sensitive skin since I was a kid, and this has been my skincare routine since I was like 14. I haven't been the most consistent with it, but when I use it, it works. So like I said, this is just what works for me. So if it doesn't work for you, just don't do it. But yeah, I'm just gonna be using this facial scrubber. I'm just gonna get my African black soap on it. All right, so African black soap typically is messy, so I just did it off camera. I don't wanna show you guys the mess and get my camera and everything messy. So this is what it's gonna look like on your brush. I just rubbed in circles on it for a little bit and then wet it, and it usually gets nice. And then I'm just gonna wet my face really quick. All right, once I get my face about this wet, then I go in with that scrubber and I'm just gonna rub it in circles until my whole face and my neck is covered in soap. I swear like a bubble burst in my eye or something. Oh my god. I'm just gonna close my eyes for the rest of it and push through. Okay, I'm gonna risk it and open my eyes just for a second. This is what she's looking like with the soap on. My eyes are a little messed up. Yeah, this, when it's on sensitive skin, it does burn very quickly. I will say it is a strong soap, but I like it because it goes in and it cleanses the pores really well, and it just gets out all the dirt and the impurities. So I'll be right back once I rinse it off. All right, I'm back. My face is rinsed off, and this is what it looks like. I just have a little washcloth, and I'm just gonna pat dry really gently until my face feels like it's dry enough. Also, y'all, I just realized my hair has all these little flyaways. Please excuse them, and please don't judge too hard. I got out of the shower right before I started filming this, just so it could be as authentic as possible. Most nights when I'm doing my nighttime skincare routine, I don't give super glam or anything, so I just wanted to be real for y'all. But yeah, that's why they're there. If I slick them back, they're just gonna poof right back up, especially since I'm doing my skincare. So I thought I'm just gonna leave it. Why do all that? But anyway, now that my skin is dry, this soap definitely does give you a glow. There's no ring light, no anything. It's just my bathroom light, and you can see that like all the oil is pretty much gone from my skin, and so that's something that I love about this product. But yeah, it's just African black soap. It's sold on Amazon. If I can find it, I will link it down in the description box just so that you guys can find the exact one that I use. And yeah, I try to use the authentic African black soap. In the past, I used to use the Shea Moisture when I first found out about African black soap. But then after a while, my skin started to have too many reactions to that, and I looked more into it, and I saw it's because it's not 100% authentic. No shade to Shea Moisture. I love them for hair products and everything like that, but just for my skin, it wasn't doing the trick. So I just started to research like African black soaps that had the least amount of ingredients possible in making the soap. And this particular brand is the one that I just fell in love with. I've been using it for years now. It doesn't give me any problems or anything. Okay, so now that my skin is nice and dry from my cleanser, washing it off with water and patting it dry with a wash rag, I am moving on to my next step, and that'll be step number 2, and that is toner. So my toner is the one that I always talk about in my videos. I always use the Dickinson's fragrance-free pore perfecting toner, and this is it. It is a witch hazel, and I always go in with cotton rounds that I get from Dollar Tree, and pretty much I just use witch hazel. I read somewhere a long time ago that witch hazel is a really good astringent, It's really good for cleaning out your pores, getting all the dirt. I've heard that it's really good for fighting acne, whether it's like fungal, hormonal, or anything like that. I've just heard that it's really good for fighting all of that stuff. So that is part of the reason why I use it. Something else I will say I forgot to mention, it is really good for brightening the skin and giving the skin a nice glow, which I always love. And I will say it doesn't give me any reactions with my skin being acne prone or sensitive. So that's a plus as well. I'm just gonna go in with this cotton round. It's soaked and I'm just gonna go over my skin with it, and I'm gonna make sure it comes back clear. Once it comes back clear, then I'll go on to the next step. This is what one came out looking like. Terrible. But I'm just gonna go on with one more. I usually do about 2 cotton rounds just to make sure all of the dirt is really gone. Obviously I just got out of the shower, so I don't have any like makeup or anything on my skin, but I will say this is really good for that too. Like if you used a makeup wipe or something, or micellar water, and you feel like you didn't get all of it, this will definitely show you if there's any dirt in your skin. So that makes it perfect for a toner in my opinion. All right, and this is what it's looking like directly after having that on. And I do recognize that my skin is very textured too, and that's why I love this routine as well, because I do feel like after everything, when you wake up in the morning, your skin does look a bit more snatched. All of the things that I use do help with fighting acne and dark spots as well, which I have a good mixture of on my skin. So I feel like by the time I wake up in the morning, usually my skin looks a lot better than it does at night. And this routine is a little bit more heavy duty, I will say. But since it's great for fighting acne and dark spots, I feel like it works really well for my skin's combination. Okay, I'm gonna keep letting my witch hazel dry a little bit more, but while it's drying, it's like halfway there, I can feel it. I'm gonna tell you guys about the tea tree that I use. That is gonna be step 3. The tea tree I use is the Nexen Botanics Organic Tea Tree Essential Oil. It's 1 fluid ounce, and this is what the bottle looks like. One thing that I really love about tea tree oil, I was put onto tea tree so long ago while I was still in high school. I love it because it is really, really good for fighting like bacteria and acne in the skin. With what I've read, it's really good for that kind of thing. People say that you're supposed to dilute it and you're supposed to do all these things. And there have been times where I've done diluting and no diluting. And I feel like for me, with the few drops that I put on my skin, it doesn't do me any harm or any foul. I don't know what that will do for me long term wise, but I know in the short term, it does really well for clearing up my dark spots. For one, that's like the #1 thing I notice. And the second thing that I notice from using it is just that if I have a really heavy breakout, like take this one, for example, I know that in the morning, it'll at least be way less red, it'll be less prominent on my skin, and it'll seem like it's in the process of going away. So that's another reason why this is a huge staple in my routine. Okay, so now that my witch hazel is pretty much dry, I'm just gonna go in with my tea tree. It has a little dropper like this. This is what the dropper looks like. So I usually will fill it about that way. I usually don't end up using all that though. I just fill more than what I need. So that way I just don't have to keep double dipping, you know? And then I usually take it on my palm. And then this is the part where y'all might start freaking out, but trust the process, okay? Like I said, this is what works for me. You don't have to do it. And this is the part where most people freak out when they see my routine. Like I said, because of the dilution. But we're not doing that. At least for not this time in my skincare journey. I usually just pat that together. And then girl, literally all I do is I kind of just pat it all over my whole face. And tea tree kind of has that like minty smell, like a peppermint, and I like that about it. It definitely wakes you up. And most of the time when I'm doing my nighttime routine, I'm like super exhausted from a long day and everything. So I look forward to this step because it at least keeps my eyes open for a little bit, girl. Just while I wait for this to dry down before I go to bed. Yeah, I really put it over my whole face, besides my eyes. I never put it on your eyes, never put it in your mouth, you know? But I really try to focus it on those active breakouts if I can, because this really does help with fighting the acne and minimizing it. But yeah, ooh, but yeah. Once you do this, girl, your eyes are definitely gonna be like boing, like for real, strong, especially if you get it right around here, which is why I got it. So if you see me blinking a shit ton, my bad, but yeah, that's because of the tea tree. Love this step. And typically, be transparent. I don't normally let this part dry down a lot, or at least as much as the witch hazel does. I just like the tea tree to work on a dry surface when I do it, so that way, you know, you're good. So while I wait for this to dry just a little bit, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I realized about this routine. Also, another disclaimer I guess I should have gave was this routine, like I said, it is very heavy duty and it is meant for acne prone skin and it is meant for more sensitive skin, but with that being said, it is still very heavy duty and I recognize that. You know, not everybody's skin can handle this. Mine, however, can, and this is what works very well. However, since this routine does have African black soap, which is a very drying, strong cleanser, witch hazel, which is a very drying, strong toner, tea tree oil, which is a very drying oil to put on you. That's kind of an oxymoron, but you know, anyway, it's all just meant to dry out all that acne pretty much, to get your skin to like be super, super, super clean, and it's a lot. And I feel like for the most part, that tends to freak people out, but rest assured, the last step is what's gonna soak it all in. So I'll be right back. So my last step is my girl, the one and the only, my ride or die, literally used on everything since I was a kid, is the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Girl. And I know, it is not normally meant to be used as a moisturizer, which is what my step 4 is. But what I like about it, I've never really been a person that's been into like African shea butters, or at least not yet. But I've heard with routines similar to this one, that is normally something that they would recommend to put on top of all of this heavy stuff. But at the time when I started this skincare routine, I was a high schooler. I barely had money, you know, I just had what my parents would give me every now and again. And when I was putting together my skincare routine, after literally trying every single thing that was in a drugstore and nothing would work, I thought, you know, for a moisturizer, all these other ones are hurting my skin. Let me just try what I put on the rest of my body. And that was this cocoa butter, this Palmer's. They changed the packaging recently, but literally it's always been this size that my family would use, and we would just use it on our bodies, like after getting out the shower, after going to the pool, all that stuff. And it's always worked well for my sensitive skin. And so I got to the point where I was like, or let's just try what we got, you know? And I must say, this is that girl when you're using all of this heavy stuff, because it's very moisturizing. It is a thick butter, and with a routine like this, you kind of need to have a thick sealant on it just to soak all that in and stuff to put back on top of your skin so it doesn't feel as bad. So yeah, this is what I use. This is what it looks like. It's a brand new one, so there's just that thick finger thing. But yeah, I usually just go in with not too much. I'll go with about that, and then I'll start to just spread it around my face, and then if there's not enough or too much, I just spread it around pretty much. But yeah. And now that you look like this, I just take both my hands and I rub them in. Don't be afraid to get your lips too. It'll all rub on each other at one point, so it's cool. And yeah, so this is what you're gonna look like immediately after rubbing all of that in. I call this the glazed donut. Literally, I've been calling myself this since I was like 15, since this routine started, girl. And that's exactly the best way I could describe it. She's glazed, she's shiny, she's hydrated, she's yummy, she's everything. So yeah, the glazed donut. Pretty much after everything, this is what my skin ends up looking like. It feels good. And for those of you who might be wondering if this is too oily or whatever, it's usually not if I use the amount that I use. There have been times where I've used way more than that, and my skin, by the time I sleep for like 6 to 8 hours, will still have a little bit of a sleek shine to it. And for that, I'll just, you know, rub it in, use it as a little bit for the next day, or I'll like rinse it off with a witch hazel, and it's totally fine usually. But for the most part, when I do this amount each time, it soaks up pretty much like before I'm done sleeping, and I wake up in the morning, my skin looks good. I love the feeling of it. It's a little heavy, especially since it's summer right now. I don't really get excited about this step because it is literally nothing but like slathering oil on your skin. But I mean, it makes your skin, I don't know why I'm talking like that, it makes my skin by the time that I'm done feel good. And that's what it matters. And I feel like this team as a whole really does help clear my skin, and when I'm committed to it and I'm consistent with it, which I really haven't been in the longest time, it's my toxic trait, my skin looks really good when I'm committed, like really good. Drinking water, doing this, getting good sleep, that's like the key for me to have clear skin. I just need to get on my Zoom, y'all, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to give me a like. Make sure you guys are leaving comments. I want to know what your guys' skincare routines are. This has been my tried and true routine for 6 years, so I don't think I'm looking forward to changing it anytime soon. But I'm always interested in learning what other people do and people's opinions if they're nice. So yeah, drop those down in the comments. Make sure you guys share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn on post notifications to be notified whenever I post. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. If you made it this far to the end of the video, I love you guys. I really appreciate everything. It means a lot to me that I have people that are viewing my stuff every week. And I just want us to keep growing, you know? And like I said at the beginning, if you guys are new here, my name is Ambrya Zahnae. And if not, welcome back. And thank you all so much for the love. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.